The gift of clarity. There is only one place where you will ever find clarity. And that is in stillness, in silence. The mind is confusion. The mind is noise. And that's why the mind hates stillness. In silence, in stillness, the mind ceases to exist. Oh, yes, I get it. In the beginning, when the mind is confronted with silence and stillness, the mind will do anything to distract itself away from the silence and from the stillness. I get that. It's not because you are doing something wrong, or it's not because there is something wrong about you. That is simply just the nature of the mind. So sometimes I check the statistics of the videos and also from the last week live stream. And there is a very clear pattern. Every time I stop talking, every time I invite into silence, there are people who are clicking away. That is, that there are people who are leaving when I confront them with silence, with stillness. And that's just how it is. That is the mind searching for some distraction. But my point is that if you let the mind dictate everything, then you will be in a constant search for the next stimuli, for the next distraction. And I get it. When we invite silence, when we invite stillness, the mind tends to become very noisy. But that's the whole point of it. Just leave it. Don't do anything about it. Watch the activity of the mind. Don't do anything. Just watch it. Watch how it fluctuates all the time. There are peaks and there are, what to call it, valleys of more quietness, but it always fluctuates. And that is what exposes the mind as what it is. Just a stream of thoughts passing by, arising and then disappearing again within you. You are the witness of it all. You are the silence, the stillness, the silence that the mind arises within. But the activity of the mind is in constant flux. You are not. And that is what shows you that you are not the mind. And that is why I ask you to just simply let it be. Then perhaps restlessness. But that is again also just a trick of the mind. Then be with the restlessness. The restlessness will not kill you. It's just energy pulsating. The more you fight it, the more it will pulsate. The more you try to distract yourself away, the more it will demand that you continue to distract yourself away. Just watch it. Don't do anything. Be with it. It is a life force, a part of life. Let it come into existence. If you don't fight it, you will discover that it fairly easy dissolves again. Then some of you might be in physical pain and ask, what about physical pain? Well, I know physical pain. And there's no difference. Physical pain is a happening in the body. What if you just watched the physical pain without naming it, without labeling it? Just be curious. What is physical pain actually? The raw experience of it. Mostly to me, okay, I know I said don't label it, but mostly to me, it feels like heat. Pretty much the same sensation as heat. Okay, it's uncomfortable. I get it. But all of these things, the mind. Um, the mind and impatience and restlessness, physical pain, etc., etc., they are all part of being a human being. They are experiencing experiences that come into existence, is experienced and is there for a while, and then disappears again. And then some of you might even have chronic pain that seems to be always there. I get it. I know chronic pain, but even that fluctuates. And one day the chronic pain will be gone. So the gift of clarity. You are clarity. You are clarity itself. Silent, pure awareness. And even though I am right now just sitting here and staring into a camera, I can feel the stillness that you are. Because you are no different to me. It's the same stillness. It's the same silence. So I'm not speaking to the mind. I'm not trying to provide the mind with any answers. There will not be any end to an endeavor like that. This message is directed towards the clarity that you already are, the clarity that we already are when we wake up out of the noise. It is the clarity that awakens. Although in some sense it has always been awake, just seemingly veiled behind noise. A very persistent noise. The human being is creating an incredible amount of noise. And I'm not just talking about, um, what's it called, audio noise. I'm not talking about only about traditional noise, but any kind of noise, visual noise, mind noise. So we are hypnotized by all that noise. We have been captured by noise. And we are mostly living like, no, we are mostly living as noise. And during upbringing, you were programmed with noise, and you were programmed to be noisy like everybody else. But you can discover that that noise is not who you are. And that is the gift of clarity. The noise might still be there, but that in that instant where you realize that I am not that noise, in that instant, your relationship with the noise changes. Falling out of identification with the noise. Ah, the wonder of being, the miracle of being, seen clearly. Liberation. Don't do anything about the noise. Just simply step out of it. Watch it. Who is watching the noise? You are. The watching itself is silent. The essence of your being. Stillness. So if restlessness arises, then simply ask yourself, what is restlessness? And that question is not, it's not meant for you to answer it in concepts. Ask yourself, what is restlessness? And then go directly to the experience of restlessness and investigate the raw experience of restlessness or any other emotion for that matter or feeling in the body. Be very, very curious. Start from scratch. Let go of any ideas you have about what restlessness might be. And then be very, very curious and then go directly to the raw sensation of it and feel it. You could even say to the restlessness, okay, I am here. I am here fully. Now, what is it that you want to show me? I am here. Please show me what it is that you want me to understand. And then be quiet and listen, not with your ears. Listen to the body. And as I said, this is not just about restlessness. It could be any kind of emotion or sensation. Go directly to it. Offer your full attention. Say to it, I am here. I am finally here. And you are allowed to be here. Tell me, what is it that you want me to learn? And you might have to do this several times before you actually, what to call it, succeed in being fully available, because that is not the standard way the mind reacts. The standard way the mind reacts is to push away, to try and fix or distract oneself away. That's how the mind typically reacts. So, what we are doing here is the exact opposite. For instance, if there is restlessness, then we say to the restlessness, okay, you have my full attention. I am here. Now tell me what it is that you want me to learn. And as I said, this might take a bit of a practice because that's not what we are used to do. But I can assure you, if you are doing this wholeheartedly and you tell the restlessness that you are here fully, then you will discover something amazing. You might even say, okay, restlessness, where are you? I'm here for you. And you might even discover that suddenly it's gone. And you might then think, I'm doing something wrong. But no, you are absolutely not doing something wrong. You are doing it right. Because that was actually the message that the restlessness wants you to learn. And the message is that the sensation simply wants your full attention. It wants to be acknowledged. as some kind of living energy in that moment. And the moment you do that, the moment you do it fully, the energy dissolves. What I've just talked about is another way of, um, or it is what we also could call radical allowance or surrender or acceptance or whatever you want to call it. But there is one thing about acceptance, and that is that you cannot fool yourself and say, well, now I am accepting this, but at the same time, I expect it to go away. That's not acceptance. Acceptance. So what I just described, that will only happen if you meet the restlessness or any other sensation, if you meet it totally with love, totally open, and you give all of your attention to it, and you ask, what is it that you want me to learn? Because that is actually what is happening. There is something to learn. And when we learn that, that is one piece of the puzzle. The puzzle of the clarity, the clarity puzzle. We are growing in wisdom. We are learning about ourselves. We are learning what it means to be a human being, truly. And that is amazing. Not many human beings are actually interested in knowing what it means to be a human being. Most human beings, they are more interested in the next toy or the next fight or the next. That is a very superficial kind of life. That is a very immature life. And I'm not judging that kind of living because they don't choose it themselves. I used to live like that. And when I look back, I can easily remember that I was just simply responding to the conditioning that the culture had programmed into me. So I'm not judging that, but I am shedding light on it. I am putting a light on it, exposing it, because we have to expose the we have to expose the energy that is in the dream state, the energy that perpetuates the human dream state. Only by bringing it into the light of awareness, only by doing that can we grow in clarity. And that is actually extremely important right now, as I know that you know also. Because the human dream state is definitely a threat to itself. But there is no one to blame, actually. How could we ever blame someone in the dream state? Forgive them, for they know not what they do. But we have to protect ourselves against the madness. And we have to take responsibility for our own awakening. I've said this before. One of the most productive things, which is not a thing, one of the most productive things that you can do is to fall in, fall in love with silence, fall in love with stillness. This is silence speaking. This is stillness speaking. There is a completely different frequency to a message like this, which I'm pretty sure that you have noticed. And in many ways, that is the reason why you are listening, because this resonates with the silence and the stillness that you are. So fall in love with silence and fall in love with stillness, because you are actually falling in love with yourself and everything else for that matter. So in these gaps where I don't say anything, there you find the invitation to watch yourself, to observe. And I will repeat, don't do anything about it. Just simply observe. Don't analyze. Don't try to understand anything. Just simply observe the stream of thoughts, any physical sensations. Just watch it. Now ask yourself, who is watching? I am. I am watching. The miracle of awareness, the most miraculous in the entire universe. Awareness is what is bringing the entire universe to life. Without awareness, the universe might still be here, but it wouldn't matter if there were no awareness to say, look at the spectacle, look at the miracles. That awareness is the most miraculous that exists. And you are it. Thank you, Daniel, for your comment. Have you ever wondered why listening to what is unsaid is more true than what you hear? Beautiful. Well, Daniel, to be aware of the awareness, that's what it's all about. It's awareness being aware of itself. It's a miracle. Mrs. Jahira, I don't know if I pronounce it right. Beautiful comment. Beautiful. The silence will give us the answers, but not through our ears, through our hearts. Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you. So, awakening is not an intellectual endeavor. You cannot think your way into awakening or enlightenment or whatever you want to call it. The final corridor you have to pass through is a corridor of stillness. So if you run away from the silence or from the stillness, it's the mind. Running away from yourself. That is the activity of the mind. So if you notice the impulse to run away from silence, then just simply notice it. Ah, activity of the mind. Then you could use the same, I don't know if I would call it a technique, but as I talked about when I talked about the restlessness before. So instead of just letting the mind dictate and draw you away from silence, from stillness, then ask the mind, what is it that you want to tell me? I am here fully. If you do that honestly, you will recognize that the activity of the mind is actually very, very The activity of the mind is very limited. It is tiny compared to you, compared to the silence, compared to the stillness, to the space of stillness that you are. It's only when we are getting lost in the mind that the mind seems to pervade everything, that the mind seems to be all pervasive. But it is most certainly not all pervasive. Not the conditioned mind. You are all pervasive. Awareness, stillness. It is important to understand that the goal of what we are doing here, although there is not really a goal, but if we, let me just call it the goal of what we are doing here, is not to destroy the mind, is not to get rid of the mind. A lot of the mind has to do with practical things, and that's fine. But what we are doing here is discovering that who we are is not the mind, falling out of identification with the mind, with the conditioned mind. When we lose ourselves in the conditioned mind, that is the source of all unnecessary suffering. So, what we are doing is that we are waking up out of that dream state, out of that fantasy, out of that illusion. We are simply seeing through the false self. And the false self is the conditioned mind identifying with itself. And that is the course, that is the source of all unnecessary suffering. So we are simply seeing through the illusion. And the only way we can do that is by inviting silence, inviting stillness, falling in love with silence and falling in love with stillness. Then suddenly awareness realizes itself as being aware. And awareness discovers that there is not a someone who is aware. There is not a someone who has awareness. Awareness is aware. You are aware. Silence, stillness is aware. All pervasive. And everything appears within that unlimited field of awareness. Everything comes and goes. But you are always there. Even the human experience is something that appears and then disappears again within awareness. So awareness is not within the body. The body is within awareness. It is so obvious. Yeah. I read the comments right now. So Michael Todd asking about a spiritual practice. Next meeting. Well, a spiritual practice. Well, you could say that this entire uh, live stream has actually, in some sense, been a spiritual practice. One long spiritual practice. Um, Although I'm not really that much of a fan of spiritual practices, because spiritual practices often ends up being something that the mind is doing to perpetuate itself. So now I'm doing a spiritual practice. I don't know if that makes sense, Michael, but I will consider it. Thank you. Miss Jahira again. We try to figure out this unknown with the practical mind, and it causes so much suffering. Absolutely. What you call the practical mind, I will call the conditioned mind. Oh, the conditioned mind would love to be enlightened, but it can't. Daniel Bell, your comment. That's an interesting comment. So, the dark, silent void I saw in my near death experience wasn't a place, but rather me. Oh, yes. And there is actually not that much more to say about that. I would consider it a gift. You know now, definitely, that there is nothing to fear. To the mind, the dark void sounds frightening. But the dark void is silence, stillness, rest. So, the Blue Watcher, what is the meaning of I? That's a good question. So, the mind is curious. The mind wants to be able to attach a meaning to everything. So, the mind concludes that there must be a meaning to I. You could also say, what is the meaning to exist? Well, the meaning to exist is to exist. What is the meaning of this moment? Well, the meaning of this moment is this moment. True meaning is true meaning is non-conceptual. True meaning is a direct, non-verbal recognition, and that can only be done in silence, in stillness. But thank you for asking the question, my friend. Thank you. Mary Nyum, I don't know how to pronounce that. Sorry. Just being here feels like being washed from inside. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Stella, thank you, Stella. Singing flowers. A few months ago, I saw an ad on my computer screen that said, Ancient stillness sets your next chapter in motion. Happy to be here. Thank you. Oh, beautiful. That's an amazing ad. We need some more advertising like that. Beautiful. Thank you. And the Blue Watcher, thank you. Well, the Blue Watcher, you say, thank you for clarity. Yes, the clarity is what you are. I'm not giving you clarity. Clarity is breaking through. The clarity that you already are, is breaking through. So please thank yourself. Okay, I think I'll just sit here for a few more minutes, and that'll be it for this time. And I will be back next Sunday. So, to all of you, thank you for being here with me. And take care. And cultivate the love for silence.